Hello and good evening. Welcome to all of you. With me again, Ame. So we are going to explore session 2. So okay, I'm going to create a new file. So you can go to file, new notebook. So so we're going to do new notebook for session 2. So I'm going to name it Hello World session 2. Okay, in this session 2, we are trying to cover four topic, which is our first topic is decision making, and second topic is try accept, and third topic is loop, and the last topic is function. So let's start our first topic. So decision making. So in program, we have what we call is decision making. So when we run the program, we want to the program to react to user input. So let's say we are doing program for deciding students grade. So let's say the student grade is above 50, so we want the program to display, let's say above 50 is A, so then we want the program to display A. But what happen if the user input is below than 50? So we want the program to react in another way. So this is what called decision making. So you can see that we have condition. So the program have to meet a certain condition. Then the code under the decision block we run. So only when the condition is meet, the certain code we run. So in decision making, we have a comparison operator, which how we create the condition. Is it if let's say we are dealing with the condition is with numbers, so the numbers, if the numbers equal to a number or larger or smaller, we have larger or equal and smaller or equal. Decision making not only specific to numbers. It's not only when, like say, if grade is above 90, you also can create a decision with a string condition. Let's say if quit equal to yes. So let's say you want to create, if the user want to quit, then what the program will do. But don't worry, let's try explore the decision making together. So let's start with a simple decision making. So let's say, so I will start with the decision making. So let's say our first program is, we're going to make a really simple, which is if the students enter the mark above 60, then above 50, then the student is pass the course, pass the subject. So we want to also display congratulations. And if the student have mark other than above 50, so the program will display nothing. So let's say try this out. So first we want to receive input from user. So let's say mark equal to, so the mark can be between whole number, it can be a decimal number, maybe 50.1, so it's going to be float. So we specify it's going to be float. And input, so the prompt, please enter your mark. So now the input from user will store in mark variable. Now then we do the decision making. So in decision making, we have what we call if statement. So if then the condition, we have to create the condition for our program. So let's say I want to mark above 50. So if mark above 50 double dot and enter, you see it's automatically indent. So all the code that we want to run, if the mark is above 50, must be indented. So it is under if block statement. So let's say if mark above 50, we want to print you pass the subject. Okay, so let's try run this first. So first, the program will ask for the user to enter their mark. Okay, so the user asks, the program asks the user to enter the mark. So let's say we enter 50.1. So then we enter. So now the program will receive the input from user, then compare it to the decision that we create in earlier. So let's say only if the mark is above 50, then the program will print you pass the subject. So let's run it again. So enter a different value. Let's say I enter 1. So you can see the program doesn't display anything. It is because the print is under if statement block. So only when the condition met, then it can print you pass the subject. So let's say I put another statement here. Print congratulations. So when we try run, enter 55. So let's say the program will display you pass the subject, congratulations. And we try rerun it again, enter different value. So you see there's no other display. So why this is happening? Because the print congratulations is also indented. So it means it's under the if statement block. So what if I start to remove the indentation of print congratulations? So let's try run. So let's say we try 20. So you can see that the program still display print congratulations. Why? This is because the print congratulations is not under the if statement block. So that's why no matter what the condition is, it will always print the congratulations. And let's try when we meet the condition, 59.9. So that you pass the subject and congratulations. But the congratulations is also displayed when the mark doesn't pass over 50. This is because the print is not indented. So it means it is out of the if statement block. So if you want to the print congratulations under if statement block, you need to indent it. If you don't want, remove the indentation. And if you have like print congratulations is not indented, then after the statement you make an indentation, like say print good job. What happen is it's going to give you error, because even though it's indented, but it's not directly after the if statement block, because you already remove the indent on congratulation, means you back to out of the block, but suddenly you make indentation, it will give you a syntax error. Okay, let's say if the mark is above 50, then it will print you pass the subject, congratulations. But what if your mark is other than that value? So this is where we use else, if else statement. So if mark is above 50, so we print you pass the subject, congratulations. And else mean other than above 50 value, it will print anything that we want the program to print. Let's say else print please try again. So means that if the condition doesn't if the user input is not above 50, then it will be trigger the else block. So when we run the code and we enter 23, so now it say please try again. But when you meet the first condition, if the mark is above 50, then it will run on if statement block, which is you pass the subject, congratulations. And under else block, it will be ignored completely. And you can see that even though we've completed, it's perfectly running. So let's say you want your mark is the maximum mark for your, let's say that subject is 100. So the student should not enter the mark above 100. So let's say the student enter a value beyond 100. You can see that it still display you pass the subject, congratulations. So why this is happening? This is because you only mention if the mark is above 50. So it means that from 50.001, just above 50 until infinity. Okay, let's say you don't want the student to enter a value beyond 100 and below 0. because normally the mark will be on from 0 to 100. So if you run this program, if the student enter 101, the program still display you pass the subject, because the value that have been entered by the user is actually still meet the condition. So let's say you want to limit the condition. So let's say the mark for pass subject only 50 to 100. So we can have a statement with multiple condition. So if mark is above 50 and mark less than or equal to 100. So you can see here we have n function here. It means that the user input must be between 550 and 100 in order this statement to run. So whenever the condition is above 100 or below 50, it will trigger else statement. So this is what we call multiple decision. And here, make sure that if both condition meet, then this program will run. Not only if it beyond 50, or not only it lower than 100, it must be above 50 and lower than 100. So let's try when we insert a value which is 101. So you can see it. Please try again. But let's say this is not enough. You want to inform the student if they enter value above than 100 or below than 0, you want to the program to respond with let's say invalid input. So in order to have that, so we are going to explore what we call nested ifs. So what we have, like, now we only have if and else statement. So what if we want to have more statement? So one simple way you can do is basically you can put another if. Let's say you just did if mark is over 100, print print error input error. So when you enter 101, let's say 101, so you can see that you have two kind of output. First, try again and input error. So why this is happening? It is because your program is running the first if else code, and then after the program finish that if else code, it run again for second condition code. So here, when for the first code, when you enter above 101, so it is under else code block, so it will print out please try again, and then it will go through the second condition, which is if the mark is above 100, it will print input error. So this is not what you want, and this is not efficient. If let's say you just remove the else, so you can see that if you just continue using if the program, if you have a long program, now you don't see it, but when you have a really big program, the efficiency is really important. So you are doing this way, this is not important. So this is where we use nested if. So nested if you introduce another if statement, so that when the program run, it just go through one block of if else statement, one block of nested if statement, but when the program meet the condition, so it will stop run, so it will not run again and again, so you don't have any redundancy in output, so it will be clean and more efficient. So to make another new condition, you just write elif or else if, actually you can say so elif the mark is above 100 double dot and print input error. So just select it all, hit double quotation mark. So when you run the program, enter 101, so it just display input error. So the please try again print function will not run. So this is really efficient for your code. And note also, if you have multiple elif, so the program we run and find and the program we run and go through all the condition. So the first condition that the program made, it will run those code, and the condition after that will be ignored. So make sure that you put the most prioritized, the most important condition above all of them, then followed by the second prioritized, next third, and so on. So let's say we want to have a more complete mark. Let's say if mark is above 80 and below 100, you want to print out you get A. So, and else if the mark is above 60 and the mark is below or equal to 80, print you get B. And let's say print and the last one is elif mark is above 0 and mark is less than or equal to 60, you get print you get C. And else, please let's say, and else is input error. So here we can see that the program have three if condition, and else is a default condition. We call it a default condition. So let's say these three condition is not the program not meet all those three condition, it will run a default condition, which is print input error. So here we have three different condition, and this is what we call nested if. And the program will run start from if mark above than 100, check the condition if mark above than 100, above 80 and below 100. If the condition is not met, it will print, it will go to the second condition if the mark is above 60 or below 80. If it still not met the condition, it will go the third condition. So if let's say if you go to the first condition, it meet the first condition, the second and third condition, the program will not will just ignore that. And so that's why I mentioned earlier, it's important for you to make sure that the first condition is the most prioritized condition. So let's try run this code. So you can see, okay, you get, okay, forget to open to close bracket. Okay, make sure after each condition you have to put double dot. So enter your mark. So let's say I enter 62. So you can see you get B. And if you enter 99, you get A. Other value, maybe -3, you get input error. So this is how to make more condition in one single nested if function. So it so instead of using if, and the program will run again and again, which is not convenient and not efficient to the program, this is much more efficient, and most likely we all use this type of code. For decision making, we not only have a numbers condition, we also can have string as the condition. So let's say we make a program that asks the user, are there like apples? So if they like apples, we will print out like, this is your apple, here is an apple for you. And if they say they don't like apple, then we say that here is an orange for you. Here in this program, we are using a string condition, which is either yes or no. So let's say a string condition. So let's get a input from the user. So user respond equal to input, and the instruction to the user, do you like apple? So here also specify the answer is yes or no. So then we create the condition if the response is equal to a double equal sign equal to, and in double quotation mark or single quotation mark you put the string condition. If response equal to yes, then we print out here an apple for you. And let's say if the user answer no, then we want to give him or her an orange. So and if response equal to no, and print here an orange for you. So let's try this out. So I enter yes. So now here an apple for you. When I enter no, here an orange for you. And okay, some of you might notice why I don't just like write else, because like, or if yes is apple and other answer no will be just give orange for them. But when you use else, other input, like say we use else here, you can see that when we just use else, when we just try use else, when we write other kind of response, let's say n, so here you can see that here's an orange for you. So this is maybe you don't want this kind of thing. You want to be the answer is specific. Let's say because if the user enter really weird input, let's say you just don't know what is it, so it still print out here an orange for you. So basically when you use else, it's basically used for default answer. If any of if anything that user store or respond, it will give an error, maybe an error message or something like that. So it used specifically for default to make the program more useful. So if something you have a really specific condition, use nested if function. So just use elif, what is the condition. You don't want any other response except yes or no. So you put else here and print error input error. So when the user enter other than yes or no, we just simply display input error. But what if the user actually answer yes, but in all capital letter? So when we click enter, then you see it still display input error. So why is this? Because in decision making in Python, the condition is really case sensitive. So if the condition here write YES in all small letter, you need to make sure that the user enter YES in small letter. So what if we want to give the freedom to user to enter how they like it, whether the first Y, the Y is in small hard in a capital letter or in all capital letter or just small letter. So maybe in other way you can just like write okay Y this here and N. So and you put another condition there, extra condition. So like or respond is equal to capital Y. And if response is equal to capital N. So here you can see that we have two conditions for each statement. So here or here means like either the input is small y or the input is capital Y, it accept both. So either one receive, they will continue execute the code under the block. So when we try to run, okay, we put capital, okay, we need to fix the prompt first. So you need to make sure the prompt is clear for the user. So let's say it say Y or N, so then we just write a capital Y. Here an apple for you. So and then we try again, we put small letter y. It still here an apple for you. But before this we use yes. But what if yes? So if we want to specify all the condition, it will be small letter y, small letter e, small letter s, and it can be capital Y, capital E, capital S, or a mix of that. So this is not really convenient. But what we can do is, from what we learned before, in string, we can actually manipulate them to make sure that either when the user enter a string, we can easily manipulate them to be all in capital letter or all in small letter or only the first letter is in capital. So we can use that. So let's say if the response is equal to capital letter Y, E, and S in all capital letter, so you can just simply change the input from the user to make sure that anytime the user enter any input, the input will be always in capital letter. So we use upper function. So response.upper, close open and open bracket. And also for no, and response.upper, open and close bracket for no. So this is change the prompt, yes or no. So okay, miss another double quote. Okay, here, even though it specified that in the prompt yes, all yes in upper letter and no in upper letter, but you can mix them, or you can be Y small letter, E upper letter, S small letter. But the important thing is just need to have Y, E, S. And when you enter, it show hair and apple for you. So here in the program, it ignore how the user enter the string. So no matter it's small letter or it's a capital letter, it will change the input to all capital letter. So this is really good. This is convenient for you when you want to it doesn't want to specifically only allow the user to enter the input in a specific way. Aside from using upper, you also can use lower. So you just need to change here, make sure the condition is also in lower, all small letter.